it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest, that's a comma and a comma. It's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest, that's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it.
And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest, that's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it.
It's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest, that's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it.
And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest, that's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest, that's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest, that's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest, that's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. Ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest, that's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest, that's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. Talking Mazda for the biggest, that's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest, that's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest, that's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest, that's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest, that's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it.
It's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest, that's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it.
And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest, that's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest, that's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest, that's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket, talking Mazda for the biggest, that's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. get it, comma and a comma, gotta get it, and it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma.
All right, sorry, y'all. We're having technical difficulties. I'm trying to get the control room in, and I'm sorry. Give me just 1 second. Can you hear me? Give me a thumb or something, Lori. Okay. The show kept running. It got don't hit anything else. Okay. You might want to restart your computer because things are running and you can't see it or whatever. I don't know if you can see me now, but take care of that. Come back in and all that, so we be good. I'll go ahead and get the show started. Okay. Give me a thumb up. Okay. All right, y'all. Sorry about that. We're having some technical difficulties, computers freezing, stuff like that. Thanks for everybody tuning in to Head to Head with Brian Parker. I am he, and we are here for another week of talk, y'all. And first and foremost, again, apologies for the technical difficulties. Man, it's just been a crazy, crazy week, all over the place. But we thank you guys for tuning in, as we like to be a place to be able to talk about issues and talk about them in a real way. Talk about them in a way where regular folks can understand stuff without it seeming like that it's too complicated or over your head. That's why we also have this great group chat, because if you do happen to have questions about things, we don't always have all of the answers. And a lot of times we're definitely giving you a lot of opinion about things. But we also like to hear from you guys and how you're seeing things out there. It's very important to be able to bring all types of ideas to the table. And we welcome all those types of ideas, whether we agree with them or not. The only ideas that we don't really care too much for are going to be more along the lines of conspiracy theories, debunk things, and things like that. But we all have different perspectives, and where we've come from, in life, a lot of times frames the way that we look and think about things. And we love that. We love the community. We love to be able to put thoughts and ideas together in a way where we can come up with solutions. Um, that we look at the importance of our differences and see those as strengths and not things to vilify and demonize people over. And more, especially in this world, um, it can become downright depressing sometimes, just because of the amount of hate and vitriol people have for folks that don't look like them, think like them, talk like them, all those kind of things. And we want to make sure that people understand that our differences make us stronger. They may not always feel comfortable, but at the end of the day, we need people that come from different points of view to come together, not use those things as wedges. Um, our political system has gotten so polarized It's is equivalent as to rooting for a team and just being a diehard fan, whether your team uh, did the right thing or not. You view things through the prism of the team, and your point of view can be skewed a lot of times because of the team that you root for. Um, Being able to step back, regardless of what team you root for, and call balls and strikes has become more and more difficult. Um, and we see that, and I'm not a both sides kind of person, but some things are both sides. No matter what part of the political spectrum you are, and even if you think you aren't on a political spectrum, um, you are. That's just the truth. Whether you identify on a particular political spectrum, you are on some political spectrum. Um, and I'll give you a perfect example. If you are in favor of uh, higher wages, if you're in favor of childcare, if you're in favor of clean water, if you're in favor of um, uh, a woman's right to choose, things like that, those have political connections to them. Now, whether you uh, go out there and protest to be one side of a political spectrum or another, those all are attached to something. Um, and it can get a little funny because it may be that you don't fit or check all the boxes of one thing or another. You can definitely um, still have a political leaning without subscribing to a political party or one political party's ideology 100% of the time. I remember growing up, there were times when I knew that I was a Democrat, but I also felt quote unquote conservative values because I wasn't totally aligned with everything in the Democratic Party, where I felt more left center than I did that I felt like I was 100% all 10 toes in. Let me bring Lori in. Let me see what's going on with your computer. All right. Are you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Um, it, sorry, everyone. Apparently when I tried to log in, it doesn't recognize my email address, so then I had to go in by the link. It worked before everything became frozen, and then that was everything. But I have nothing running in the background. I've shut everything down and don't know.
Hmm. Okay. But you couldn't even let yourself in, so you're not running under admin?
No,
Hmm.
because when I put in my email address, it says no account exists.
Hmm. Okay. We'll fix that. Or, we'll see what's going on
Sorry.
with that. That's all right. So you don't even have the chyrons and all that either then. You're logged in like a guest.
Yep.
Oh wow. So you're not a
And
producer then.
no, I can edit it. I think I can just be like, just Lolo.
Look at that. It's already been changed. You've been fired. You've been demoted.
Okay, so I can actually go and like, go cook now and do
I
wifely
guess.
duty things since it's just
Okay.
you.
It's just me.
I'm sorry. I'll be here to keep you company and at least add on to the commentary that you were sitting there to talk about all of the things that are going on in this world.
That's it. We can do that. So before I get too deep into it, everybody, let me bring up our and I'll come back to finish my thoughts and everything. But let me bring up our first promo of the evening. Now, what I will say, anybody that wants to advertise on the show on our Roku channel, our YouTube channel, please reach out to me at theparkermedia@gmail.com. That is theparkermedia@gmail.com. And let's talk about advertising. Let's talk about getting your product, your good or service out there in front of other folks so that they can know what it is that you have going on. We have a lot of people that have different products that they do, or events, or they have a second gig that they do as a small business, and they want to be able to get that out in front of people. And we know how much marketing and commercials, advertisements can cost, can be expensive. We would definitely like to work with you with that. So, going to give you an idea of how we do some ads. We have one from. Let me pick one. We have one from Jermaine Parker Realty. I'm going to play that, and then we'll be back on the other side of that. Buying a home is one of the biggest decisions that you'll make. Here at Jermaine Parker Realty, we're here to help you navigate through that process. We know that a home is more than just a place to live. It creates memories. Here at Jermaine Parker Realty, we're here to help. Give us a call and let us get started on your journey. All right, we're back. So, Lori, all I was basically telling our audience is my experience as, being in the world of politics, I never always considered myself just 10 toes down in one particular pool of being in the Democratic Party. Like a lot of my values, I kind of felt more were along the conservative lines. Now, it's funny though, over the years, I've evolved where some of those things I was a little bit more conservative about, I'm not as conservative about anymore. And that's really only because, life changes you. The values that you have at 18, 19, 20, 21 years old aren't going to be the same things that, somebody that's now experienced fatherhood, been a husband, had a career, and those types of things going now into your 50s are going to see quite the same. Doesn't mean that everything drastically changes, but it does mature over time. And what I was saying to people is whether they acknowledge a certain political affiliation or consider themselves political, if you have beliefs in things, whether it's a woman's right to choose, whether it's childcare assistance, whether it's raising the minimum wage, whether it's after school programs, whether it's SNAP benefits, things like that, wherever you fall on issues like that, um, those are political. They've been made that way. Even if they seem like they shouldn't be political, typically, if you are for raising the minimum wage, there's one particular party that is in favor of that, and there's one particular party that isn't. If you're for a woman's right to choose, there's one particular political party that's for that. There's one particular party that isn't. Doesn't mean that that makes you a Republican or a Democrat, but it does mean that you have political views. Whether you acknowledge that they are political views or not, they are. Um, and on this show, I like to engage with people that have views about things. If you are in your 20s, if you are in your 30s, if you're in your 40s or even higher, and you don't have views um, on the cost of how much it costs to go to a university, if uh, taxes, if the cost of gas, if the cost of chicken wings. I know y'all ordering these chicken wings and you used to get 8 of them and it only cost you about $12, $13. Now 8 of them costing you about 17, $18. You don't care about that? You don't think it's attached to politics? Come on now. We got that. So it's better to be informed is my point, folks out there. Let's have those conversations. It doesn't mean that we have to turn into political scientists and be pundits on CNN or MS Now or anything like that. But you need to be aware. And one of the reasons that I think we all need to be aware is because there are a lot of folks out there that are hoping, banking, counting on the fact that life will have you so wrapped up in other things that you won't pay attention. You know, they couldn't take away your right to vote, but they can distract you with bullshit to keep you from voting. They can lull you into a feeling of despair of what difference does my vote make? No matter who we vote for, they're all the same. They will lull you into that. It is up to us to continue to put the pressure on those that we elect to represent us. Hell, for most of them, it's in their name. The House of Representatives is a house that is supposed to represent their constituents. That's why they're called the House of Representatives. That's why in DC, they're actually called the People's House. They're supposed to represent us, but it's up to us to continue to put the pressure on them to do so that they do not feel the pressures of lobbyists, outside interests, those who write big ass checks to them. It needs to be the ones we write big ass checks to. It's called taxes. We pay their salaries. We need to remind them of that. But if they think that we'll pay their salaries and they can still make money on the side from these special interests, well, hey, if you had an opportunity to double dip without the first employer finding out about the money you making on the side, you'd probably do both too. And that's what they're banking on. That they can get their regular check from us because we ain't paying attention to what they're doing. And then they can sit there and sell us out on the other side and get the money that way too. And they need to be held accountable. And we have to do a better job of doing that. We can't sit there and fall for the traps that people set by trying to turn us against each other, um, make us fight over stupid shit, um, to not pay attention to what it is that they're doing. It's so crazy. I was just having this conversation that what a lot of politicians do is they find something that they know will make you angry. They'll talk about things about how immigrants in this country are taking your jobs. Immigration is a big thing right now. Lori, did you know that immigrants are taking your jobs? The reason that you can't have the job that you want is because there's a brown person that's taking it.
That's incorrect. That's incorrect. And I know that you have sat here and brought that up to our audience. But again, in being self-aware, they that tagline is being used by politicians and I guess white politicians to instill fear um, on what's going on. And as you had said, but what that is not true because the jobs that those immigrants or anyone that is coming in or that is not in their class, the jobs that they are talking about, they refuse to do themselves. So I don't understand what job. I actually got the job I want. So and I worked hard to get it. So I don't really understand. But again, it goes back to them instilling that fear because they want everything to be um, they're taking your jobs that everybody's on alert where underneath it all they're just trying to grift and trying to get more power.
No, that's absolutely right. And and the sad part is that people believe it, people fall for it. Um, it- you know, Folks have so much resentment. They're looking for someone to blame for what they do or do not have.
Hmm.
And it's
Absolutely.
And it's easy to try to point the finger, um, because every story needs a foil. We need a villain. We need somebody to be, um, to be that character that is the underlying underbelly reason uh, that's preventing me from getting to where I want to go. And
Yes.
it is old. I mean, it goes so far back in history. This is the context of the conversation that I was having, Lori, was that there's a lot of slave mentality out there. And I know this is going to be somewhat controversial, and that's fine. If you have a opinion one way or about it, please chime off in the comments. I'm here for it. I'm ready today.
Are you really ready? Are you
Oh,
ready?
I'm ready.
Because I think as you're getting into what you're about to say about slave mentality, there was one thing that I wanted to sit here and just say as you were talking earlier,
Hmm.
that again, and not holding in with accountability. And there is a woman on Facebook. I think her name is Mercedes. She used to be a person who was a straight Republican, but she does these like updates. And again, I think she lives out in the Midwest. So she was talking about specifically, and again, going back to the slave mentality or the blaming as the victim, as that in places, I guess in Appalachia, that they like to that these people like either in Kentucky and they wait to get free dental care services that comes into their community. And they'll wait for days or online and hours in order to get free dental services. But these are the same people that voted to have our current administration get in here because you're waiting online to get free dental services, but you don't even have a job or the job, this one, for you to be able to have medical or dental services for your family. So you have to rely on resources from our government, which you says that we need to have smaller government and have. So
Yeah.
it's just a matter of that victim mentality. And again, this was something that she had brought up, and I like her commentary, and I like what she likes to there and talks about on
Hmm.
having it on flipping the script. And as you were about to say, going back into the slave mentality, but also placing the blame on other people and or I don't want those people to have the things that I need.
Right. Well, and when I bring up slave mentality, you know, slaves, and I won't go into every aspect of slavery to bring home the point. This will be more general. You knew you were a slave because you had shackles. Um, they were physical. You could see them. Um, you were obviously not free to be independent and do what you want. There were lines established as a slave. And the shackles and the chains and all those things were clear physical impediments to you being able to go where you want, do what you want whenever you want. And in 2026, nobody's walking around with shackles and chains. Nobody's being whipped and all those types of things in the physical. But what politicians have learned how to do, Lori, in my opinion, is shackle and chain people mentally.
Mhm.
Um, there's no need for the physical anymore because there is a mental shackling that goes on in people's minds, where you are entrapped, without there being those physical chains, where you are being led to believe that the person that's right there in front of you is in front of you and they're the ones holding you back, when it's the construct of the system that is designed to hold you back. Um, when people sit there and they fight amongst themselves over these small jobs and things like that, and being told that the reason that you can't get promoted is because they have to they have to hire so many black people, and the reason that you can't get a job, they have to hire so many women, and they may not be as good as you, but it doesn't matter. They have to get pushed to the front of the line to check off a box or fit a quota. Um, that is a construct of a system designed to cause people to have grievances about why they perceive themselves not to be able to get to the positions that they aspire to be. And but it's to keep them fighting for those things, not seeing that there are other people out there that are in control of those levers that are doing far better than all of the other people that they're turning against each other. To me, that is a slave mentality because it's a distraction technique. When you're telling me that the reason that I can't put food on my table is because of the undocumented worker that just crossed the border, yet these CEOs are pulling in massive profits. It's crazy. When you're telling me that increasing the federal minimum wage would cost too much money, but when it's time for um, wars, when it's time for um, uh, when it's time to uh, cut taxes for the top 1%, money can be found. Um, we can't afford to continue SNAP benefits, which is supplemental nutrition assistance program for people that fall below the poverty line, to be able to put food on the table, where people average what $50 to $70 a week of SNAP benefits. We can't afford that, but we can find 20 to 40 billion dollars to send to Argentina. But they'll convince you, Lori, that there's people on Medicaid that shouldn't get Medicaid because they're being lazy. They didn't work for it. They didn't earn it. Are you frozen? Uh-uh. I think
No,
you are. You ain't moving worth a damn.
it's going in and out.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, you're stuck. You just look like you're just hanging on every word I'm saying. You're not moving, but I can hear your audio just fine. Um, which is fine. Um, but when you're um, saying those things, it just doesn't line up. But it's enough to distract people into believing that um those things are really the things that are holding you back. We talk about how uh, uh, ICE is now going around from town to town, and they're out there uh, trying to round up the worst of the worst, and that's the guys that they uh, are running under. But it's clear to everyone, Lori, that they're simply just sitting there antagonizing and provoking citizens as well. That they're being like a personal militia of the White House and going out to intimidate people. Um, they're not performing real law enforcement. For every uh, criminal that they do find, um, they're vastly scooping up other people that do not fit the true definition of what a criminal is, or what they sold us to be the criminals they were going after. Every time they get in front of a microphone, they bring up rapists, drug smugglers, abusers, all this kind of stuff, but it doesn't line up with the majority of the people that they actually detain. Um, and that was just their way of being able to kind of sell it. But then the actual reality of it is something totally different. Now, the crazy part is that there was a lot of people that took them for their word when they initially said it. And there was a lot of us that shook our heads and being like, I know y'all ain't falling for this shit. There's no way in the world that you can believe they really mean that. And it was, and nope, nope, nope. He said they were going after the worst of the worst. I keep hearing the worst of the worst. Okay. But worst of the worst, according to your definition of what that means, or what their definition of that is. I think that was the other part of it, Lori, is that most people's definition of worst of the worst and the administration's definition of worst of the worst probably ain't even the same damn thing. But they knew that if we're vague by saying, well, what does worst of the worst mean? That was never the question. They just took it as, well, I'm sure we both understand that to be the same thing. And I'm sitting there like, no, y'all need to make sure that you're clear with them, get them on the record to say who are the worst of the worst. Because if they are going after what they consider the worst of the worst, then what it means is non-white people. And if you are a white person who has the nerve to turn your back on other white people and support the brown people, then you are going to be just as bad in their eyes as the brown people. And how do I know that? Because it seems to me that more brown people are upset that a white woman in Minneapolis got killed in cold blood than a lot of white people. Make that make
Yes.
sense. Make that make sense. Because the white woman got killed for defending the brown people, and many white people politically have disassociated her. Where, and I'm not saying all white people have done this, I'm saying the MAGA cult has rationalized that she got what she deserved. Now, and I've heard the comparisons and I agree with it. The first thing popped in my mind when Christy Nome sat there and said, well, she was interfering with the police and labeled her a domestic terrorist for what she did, which was to try to pull off and go on about her business, and got shot for it because she was in front of police and they considered, and what they considered her doing was domestic terrorism. And I'm sitting here thinking, well, wait a minute. If that's considered domestic terrorism and the penalty, or according to them, the justifiable penalty is being shot in the head 3 times, well, then how many people on January 6th could have or should have been shot in the head? Now, only one person was shot and killed, and her name was Ashley Babbitt. And even to this day, the MAGA faithful bring Ashley Babbitt's name up in high esteem and regard, even though, according to Christy Nome's definition, she was a domestic terrorist. But her domestic terrorism seems to have been okay because she was doing it in the name of Donald Trump. Miss Good isn't afforded that same high esteem because she was doing it in the name of brown people. Because if anybody can tell me the difference between what Ashley Babbitt was doing. Now, I can tell you the difference. I can tell you why it was justified for Ashley Babbitt to get shot, because Ashley Babbitt broke through a window and was about to storm towards Congress people, and the Capitol Police are sworn to protect them and to use lethal force if necessary. Ms. Good was turning her wheels away from the officers, basically making a 3-point like turn, and was turning away. She didn't go towards the officer. How do I know that? Well, if you look at the angle of the gunshots, if she was coming at him, then the bullet would have went through the front window and through the front of her head. You can see by the time he fired the last shot, he was clearly to the side of her and firing into the side driver's side window. Well, you know, I don't have to be the best uh, geometry major to be able to tell you that if you're shooting somebody from behind or to the side, they're clearly not in front of you. That's a hell of a trick. If you can make a bullet go from the front around to the side, you curving bullets now. I don't think this was the Matrix, where they sitting there, Lori, manipulating space and time and making the bullet go from the front around to the side. Aside from that, the video footage is pretty damn clear that he fired all 3 shots through the side driver's side door, meaning that he was not directly in front of the vehicle. But what's facts? Um, but in any event, Ashley Babbitt gets held up as a patriot for what she did, not a domestic terrorist. You know, and that is the craziest thing, because if anything, and then the response from Kristi Noem, the response from the White House, JD Vance, all these people in the administration trying to whitewash this is gross. And then the Justice Department, anytime there's a officer shooting of a civilian, there's normally an investigation just to make sure that things were done on the up and up. The Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice for years has always at least investigated, and if there was nothing there, to proceed with formal charges against an officer or anything of that nature, then that would be made at that time. But Todd Blanche, the number 2 at the Department of Justice, Lori, just flat out came out and said there's not even any basis, his word, to even open up an investigation to begin with. And they're going to pass on that. And they're keeping the local justice folks from investigating currently. Which is crazy. Keith Ellison, Attorney General, Minnesota, is pushing forward with a lawsuit to force the government to turn over facts for them to be able to launch their own investigation into the shooting, to see if everything is on the up and up, or if that ICE officer needs to be charged. I will say this: when the Justice Department exonerates an officer before an investigation can be done, what that will do is let all of the other officers know, regardless how reckless, irresponsible, gutless, inhumane you want to be, they got your back. But what I will say to them in the other side of that is Donald Trump is not going to be president forever, even if he thinks he is. Um, the clock is ticking. You know, his mortal clock is ticking. His presidential clock is ticking. One way or another, Donald Trump is not going to be in office forever. If you are an ICE agent and you hear this, if you are related to an ICE agent and you hear this, listen clearly. Donald Trump will not always be the president. Pam Bondi will not always be the attorney general. Ty Blanche will not always be the assistant attorney general. Kash Patel will not always be the director of the FBI. And remember, if you're an ICE agent, Donald Trump can only pardon your ass for federal crimes. But if you kill somebody in a state, you could be on the hook for state prosecution, and you cannot be pardoned for that. So the ICE officer that just shot this woman in cold blood, the Department of Justice may not come for your ass. But when Donald Trump is shown the door back to Mar-a-Lago or to the grave, whichever one comes first, we not just gonna come for you. We gonna come from every one of them other son of a bitches that you work with, and we're gonna bring to you the justice that you deserve. I already know that. It's not retribution, but I don't even give a damn if y'all call it that. You call it whatever you want to. You can call it an eye for an eye. I call it karma. Karma don't always come on time, but it does come. It might not come in my time, but it will come. You doing these things now because you are under the hedge of protection of the Department of Justice and a feckless White House that will defend you before they even see the tape. Donald Trump was already commenting on the situation, and you could tell he hadn't even seen the damn tape. How do I know he hadn't seen the tape? He said that the woman ran over the agent. I don't even know how he's still alive. Ran over him. The car didn't touch him. Now there's exaggerations, and then there's obvious incidences of, did you even see this? Or somebody told you about it. Somebody told him about it. But then once he saw it, of course, he had to double down on it. But his initial response came from something he didn't even see. And if they're willing to exonerate you that way, okay. We already knew that the likelihood of them opening up an investigation was going to be slim to none, or none to none, I would say. But for Todd Blanche to have already come out and say that there's no basis to open up an investigation, but they're still blocking the Minnesota Department of Justice. I'm sorry, the Minnesota Attorney General's office for doing it. Now, you want to hear something crazy though, Lori? They said that they wouldn't investigate the ICE officer shooting her, but they did want to open an investigation into her and her widow. So they told their folks at the Department of Justice, we need you to go investigate the widow and her and the groups that they potentially could be affiliated with that were protesting against Trump. Which, number one, protesting isn't a crime. Being affiliated with groups that protest is not a crime. So there were 6 attorneys at the Department of Justice that said, you know what? We're out. And they resigned in protest. Then they told the ones at the local office in Minnesota, hey, we need y'all to go after the widow, and they resigned in protest. We ain't doing it. The last time, or the other time before this, where attorneys from the Department of Justice resigned in protest were when the Department of Justice was trying to get Eric Adams out of his bribery case in New York City. And they told them to go into court and argue for that. And they said, no, you got to find somebody else, bro. I quit. Because this administration has a thing about going after people that do not agree with them and helping out those that do. This is the same Department of Justice that fired the attorney that helped prosecute Ghislaine Maxwell so that she would not be the one to go down to Florida at the time to interview her. And they put Ty Blanche in that position to go to Florida to interview Ghislaine Maxwell. And then all of a sudden, once Ghislaine Maxwell told Ty Blanche everything, lies included, that he needed to hear, miraculously got transferred to a minimum security prison in Texas that is not even supposed to be eligible to sex offenders. He said that there was security issues, that she was in danger at the place that she was in Florida, and then you send her to a less secure facility in Texas. You know, the mental gymnastics that this administration jumps through is amazing, Lori. I see you're unfrozen. I see that you're blinking. So for now, so I can tell that you're back. Any comments on any of that so far?
Well, I hope that everyone, again, if they either have access to Instagram, please make sure that you follow Governor Walz's page, Instagram page on Instagram. It's MN Governor, all is one word. He actually put last night a 6-minute video that he sent out to the people of Minnesota, instructing them to make sure that they have their phones and the reason why I bring this up is that because of, especially with our technology, and I guess the little white van is circling the neighborhood, and making sure that he's letting people of Minnesota and actually all of us, and it needs to be reshared over and over, I guess, for analytics as well, is that being in a protest is not against the law. Filming an ICE agent with your phone is not against the law. That you need to make sure and do that. And making sure that you also are especially speaking about the ICE agent who murdered Renee Good. He actually has a GoFundMe page for his for litigation. And I would suggest to everyone to please make sure to dispute that as against the rules and regulations on the GoFundMe page for that. But just in all of your ways of making sure that we're being mindful of our neighbors, whether they are immigrants or not, because apparently the people are just getting picked up and are going away. And it's very scary right now in this world. And I just pray, like you said, we will not be in this forever. It just seems like it's lasting forever, but we will not. And he will not be our president, whether it's naturally or unnaturally. Um, so I just say that you have to keep up the good fight and
I
that
do
to
have
keep up
I
with our
do I do have
democracy.
I do have a preference.
I understand you have a preference, and so does a good majority of people. And then please make sure, and I guess my last thing that I would say to everyone is please be up on your news, and then especially with some of the news sources and things that are going on in the government that, as Brian had said earlier in the beginning of the show, is putting down as distractions. Please be aware that lots of things that are going on in the government are straight distractions to make sure that you're not voting, that you're not out there, especially for your local elections, because you need to sit there and to make sure that you get out there and vote, not just for the president or the Senate or the House seats, but for your local school boards because they really matter a lot, and especially with our education of our children.
Yeah. You know, and a lot of this is actually being fought in court right now, whether it's the National Guard being deployed to streets of cities and things like that, or whether it's ICE. Um, there's a bigger purpose, I think, Lori, that's behind a lot of this. And honestly, I think it's going to be the normalization of seeing troops walking up and down the streets of US cities, whether it's ICE, whether it's the National Guard. And once something becomes normalized, people just accept it. You know, it just becomes, it blends in. It's just what now becomes the new normal, as they say. And that can be dangerous because when you start talking about times for elections, you know, seeing active ICE agents around election sites in historic um, areas of people of color can be intimidating and could disparage people from showing up to vote. Low voter turnout from African Americans, Latino Americans, etc., could turn votes one way versus another, freezing out the polls. Um, Not that it's pushing illegals away and, well, the only people that have a reason to be scared to show up are those that don't have the right to vote anyway. No, that ain't it. It can also make other people nervous to show up as well. People that do have the right to vote, people that do that can verify at the polls like they normally do that they are indeed registered and legally registered to vote. It can have that impact. And I believe, Lori, in my heart, that's what they're going to try to do to intimidate voters, to intimidate low voter turnout, because the writing is on the wall, especially with the House of Representatives, that when the midterms come in November, there's going to be a whole lot of seats changing. It's about to be some serious game of musical chairs, and it's going to be a whole lot of Republicans standing up without a chair. Um, it could get up to, right now, Republicans, I believe, have like a two majority seat since Marjorie Taylor Greene left 10 days ago and one congressman died. I think they hold on to at least one or two seats as an advantage. The best case scenario for the Republicans after the midterm right now is forecasted at 30 seats. Let me say that again. Right now, the Republicans have to have a majority, you got to have 218, Lori, 218, 435 seats. Half of that is 417 and a half. So 217 and a half. You got to have 218 to have a majority. I believe they got 219. That means for them to push any legislation to the Senate, they have to win 218 to whatever. You can't lose but one person. And that's reserved right now for Thomas Massey. You get anybody else, you get Chip Roy, you get Lauren Boebert, you get anybody else against you, it fails if all the other Democrats vote against you. Okay. What they're saying is that instead of having the majority of 219 that the Republicans have, they're forecasted right now to get hit about 245, 247. That is a crazy rebuke. You know, you always hear Republicans when they come into office and they take over, first thing out their crappy mouths is, we have a mandate from the American people to shove this shit right down their throats. You always hear them talking about mandates. I guarantee you, when they lose by 30 seats plus, they ain't gonna be won't be wanting to hear nothing about no damn mandate. They're gonna say it was rigged. They're gonna say all these different things. Oh, we knew it was coming. The party in power always loses in the midterms. They're gonna now. What they're gonna try to do though to mitigate that, I believe, is try to put up a military presence at the polls to try to curb turnout. This is why they're trying to restrict early voting, mail-in voting, and things like that, so that people that may foresee this coming may say, you know what, I'll just go ahead and mail in my ballot. And then now you got to worry about Louis DeJoy, who is still over the U.S. Postal Service, messing with the post office and getting ballots post-dated in time to count for
There's no longer a post date unless it
wait,
gets to a processing center. So even if you put it in the mailbox, it won't, the date will not be there until it gets to a major distribution center. So
correct.
it's not. So now if you do have a mail-in, if you are going to do a mail-in ballot, you I would suggest that you bring it to an official drop-off box or something that is mandated for you to have it collected to make sure that your vote is received.
That's correct. That's correct. In the past, unless the amount of outstanding ballots could have an impact on who wins, a lot of times a winner is declared before all of the ballots come in, right? And
Right.
this is especially helpful because we have ballots that come from overseas from our service members who may be deployed while there's an election. But even if their ballots would not, the total of their ballots would not change the results one way or the other, that's normally when you get a declared winner, when they'll say 80% of the ballots are in, but we're ready to make a decision on the winner. That's because they can firmly say what's still left out there would not change who the winner would be, right? Doesn't mean that we're not going to still count those ballots when they come in, so we have the official number, but it's not going to change who the winner is. And that's why a lot of times they can declare the winner that night, even sometimes with 60% in. It just depends on, and there's a lot of political scientists, Lori, that work at these decision desks that can break down how they know how many ballots are out there and how many of them lean a certain way and that kind of thing. But it's a thing. And that's how they end up doing it before 100% of all ballots are in. Well, the way that they're trying to curb mail-in ballots would even have an effect on our service people getting their votes, their ballots in. Their ballots might not come in until 3 days after the election. They still get counted currently. But if Trump has his way, they won't get counted. So people, I'm saying with y'all with a lot of this is, you don't have to be as political as Brian or Rachel Maddow or Joy Reid, Angela Rye, Bakari Sellers, anybody on native land pod or anything like that. But you got to understand that when people are making such an effort to take your vote away, there's got to be a reason why. There's got to be. They got to be doing it for a reason. The reason is that this is the only way for you to put a check on their power is by showing up to vote. If you don't make it known during the voting process your pleasure or displeasure in their performance, it will not curb what they do with that power. And you will have to live with those decisions. Then you get people with remorse talking about, this ain't what I voted for. I ain't vote for this. The hell you didn't. You voted for that and everything else. It's funny now to see a lot of these white folks sitting there talking about, I ain't vote for that. They took away my benefits. Yeah, fool. Because they can't write in the legislation, take it away from all the brown people. That's what you thought was going to happen. They can't write that in no damn legislation. You know why? Because your ass was just as poor as the brown people that they took it away from. But because you wasn't worried about the color of the brown people, you were more worried about the color of the jersey you was wearing. You thought that jersey was going to protect your ass from getting the same thing that was going to happen to everybody else. That MAGA jersey is not going to protect you. Trump does not care about you. Trump is not a everybody's man that you can sit down and drink a beer with. You listen to these folks, oh, Trump is relatable. How the hell is this man relatable? How? When has he ever had to decide between paying the water bill or going and getting some groceries? I'll wait. How's he relatable? Why? Because he curses? Why? Because he sleeps around with women or used to? I'm sure he can't do that no more. But why? How's he relatable? Oh, he's white. He's white. That's how he's relatable. That don't make you relatable. That just makes you a racist. That ain't being relatable. That's just being a racist. Don't get me wrong. I relate to black people when I relate to white people because I understand what it means to be black. Trump is relatable because he understands what it means to be white. Don't get that twisted, y'all. If you was on fire, Trump wouldn't piss on you.
Absolutely not.
He'd let your white ass burn up just as he would black folk. He is not here.
Prayers,
Yeah, he is not here for you. The man has no empathy. He could care less. And look, don't get me wrong. There are plenty of Democrats out there that I know that my vote means nothing to them more than it's just a vote. It has nothing to do with what I need and everything else. But I have the ability to sit there, and when I see that a certain representative is not representing me, they will not have my vote. They just won't. You know, you got to be able to break away from the cult sometimes and be able to say, you know what, it's more to it than just being part of a party. Being part of a party doesn't mean that you have unfettered, undying, unquestioned loyalty to something. You got to be able to stick your head up and be able to say, what are they doing for me? It's funny, Lori. I see these. There's this. I don't know if you've seen on Facebook. I think the guy's name is Gunny. He drives a Harley Davidson with a big flag on the back of it that says "fuck Trump."
Yes.
And he has all these videos where people confront him about his flag and stuff. Have you seen this guy?
Yes.
He's funny. A little orange Harley he drives. So he constantly pushes back on people to say, "Hey, I tell you what. Name me a policy that Trump has that you support." No one can ever name a policy. And the reason is, well, there's a couple of reasons, but the biggest reason that they don't know is there are no policies. Damn near everything Trump has done is by executive order. Executive order isn't a policy, it's a proclamation. And the reason it isn't a policy is because it's none of it is being passed through the House and the Senate. That's how policies get done. I'm the president. I have a policy. My party is in power. They pass the policy. It comes to my desk. I sign it into law. That's a policy. He don't have no policies. Then it's funny. Gunny says to them, "Can you name the three branches of government?" I haven't heard one person yet name the three branches of government. Now, the funny thing is, he's asking this of people who I assume are Americans. I shouldn't assume that, but they're all white. They white folks, country, and they can't name the three branches of government. Yet you could take somebody in a predominantly Latino community and ask them the same question, and I bet I could get somebody there to name the three branches of government. Why? Because they had to take it to become a citizen. But how is it that the people in this country can't even tell you the three branches of government, but you know, somebody else that they see as subhuman can do it? It's crazy. But before you answer that question, let me go to my last ad of the night. This is one of my favorites here. This is a Sawyer Kid Lawyer. We'll be back on the other side. Introducing Sawyer Kid Lawyer, Teacher versus Nap Time. A great book that will help your little one with reading, writing, and spelling. Coming from the authors Shanine and Sheldon Muldrow. Please check this book out and support. Thank you so much. All right, we're back. So it's kind of crazy. They don't know the three branches of government, Lori. Wouldn't you agree? Do you know the three branches of government, Lori?
Executive, judicial, I'm thinking on the third, sorry,
Starts with an L.
legislative.
There you go.
What,
That's correct.
like I said, I had to think about it for a hot minute, but you know, history and civics was my favorite subject in school. So
And when you say judicial, you're talking about the courts. You
yes,
know, all of the appellate courts, all of the district courts, all the way up to and including the U.S. Supreme Court. We talk about the legislative. You're talking about the U.S. House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate. And of course, when you're talking about the executive branch, you are talking about the White House. Those are the three branches of government. No one branch holds any more power than the other. They are there to be a check on the other. You want to say something on that one?
I wish they would bring back, which was on PBS. I know that this administration has cut funding to PBS, but I just always remember the song on Saturday mornings. How do we get a bill? And the bill, and we would talk about the three and the learning that you would get from those things is just amazing. And it's sad that our children today don't have that at all. And it's
It's
like
not,
they're just
well,
clueless.
what you know, I'm gonna go back to the slave mentality for a minute. One of the ways that slave masters also kept their slaves in check was they made sure they couldn't learn. You're only going to learn what I want you to learn. Slaves were not allowed to be able to know how to read. Why? What's wrong with being able to know how to read? Reading increases your ability to seek out knowledge on your own. Reading is a way of me not relying on what somebody is telling me, but I can then vet information on my own. But if somebody is telling me something contrary to something that if I could read it for myself, that can create an issue. So instead of my word being questioned, I will take away your ability to read something that would question it. And that was a construct of that system was the more knowledge that the slaves have, it could become dangerous. They could then have self-thought. God forbid, they may come up to their own conclusions and be able to critically think, Lori, instead of just do what they have been told. It's a form of control, right? So today, when you see books being banned and you see history being whitewashed and things like that, and they say, well, we just don't want our white kids to feel bad for what happened, 400 years ago. We don't want history to say white people bad. I'm sorry, I don't know. What do you call massacring Native Americans and enslaving black people? What the fuck do you call that? It ain't good. It ain't. It not, don't mean that all white people today are bad. But you got to look at it and say, well, I mean, if my race was responsible for uh taking, it's kind of funny. History just repeats itself. White folks wanted wanted to take the land of America. Now they want to take Greenland, you know, and Venezuela apparently, and Mexico, and all this crazy stuff. So it's kind of funny how history repeats itself. But but then when you do all those things, and then when somebody has the nerve and audacity to put it in history books, for God's sakes, now that's a problem. I'm sorry. Is the problem what's in the book, or is the problem that it happened? Which one is it? Is it the book? Hell, we can't change the history, but we can change whether it's in the books or not, or whether we're going to let our poor kids read those books about what we did. you know, and that's the whole thing now. So, yeah, you're right. A lot of history won't be taught because it contradicts the narrative that's being pushed out there. And instead of having contradictory things or people actually, I remember even being in school, Lori, we had debate teams and stuff, and people debating. They don't want debate anymore. They just want conformity. Why? Because they want you to grow up a certain way so that when you get out of high school, guess what you do? You get a job and you go work for their billionaire donors. That's all you are here on this earth to do, Lori, is become a worker. You are another part of a cog that is the bigger part of the machine. All they want you to do, which is kind of funny when I say that, Lori, because if that was true, and I believe it is, then wouldn't you want your cogs to have good health care so they can be good cogs for you quite a long time? You don't want them getting sick. You don't want them having to go to an emergency room. You should want them cogs to have big, strong backs, be healthy as hell so they don't call out of work, so they can make your billionaire donors a whole lot of money. You know what I'm saying? They're not thinking the big picture. Now I know they want these cogs. I know that's what it is. That's the only reason that they want uh uh childbirths to remain up for white people. It ain't because they just trying to repopulate the world with the white race, which they are, because they don't want them to ever become the minority. Because I think half of them scared that we gonna do to them what they did to us. Man, if we ever become the minority, they're gonna put us in chains. Well, you kind of would deserve it, but we ain't like that. They think so. That's that projection. You know what I'm saying? It's the guy that cheats now. He think his woman cheating because he cheats. That's what they do. They sit there and go, "Well, we did it to them, so if they get a chance, they're gonna do it to us." No, we don't think like that, bro. We don't think like that. Um, that's just your insecurity showing that you're afraid that given the opportunity, we just as bad as you are. We're not. Sorry. No matter what the narrative is, we just aren't. Don't think like that, Lori. Um, now we get the majority. I ain't saying that you ain't gonna see a couple more AME Zion churches pop up and some Popeyes chicken, maybe, but that's about it. Um, I think y'all can live with that. Oh man, what else is going on? So, with immigration too, Lori. For those that don't know, my full time job is I work in the hospitality industry, and I was on a call with one of my hotel properties yesterday, and like I said, I don't know if they've really figured out this whole immigration thing from the standpoint of the economy. The economy is kind of teetering along. It's not in a recession yet, but it could be better. Job numbers are showing that. All the economic indicators are showing that. And I just don't understand the rationale behind the immigration too, because it does have an effect on the economy. And what do I mean by that? Well, one of my hotel companies, I'm like, well, why do y'all have so many dirty rooms? ICE is staying at the Marriott down the street from us. Okay. And they've already been to the Sonesta down the street and went in and put two of their workers in handcuffs and brought them out.
Wow.
Now we're getting around in the area that ICE is going into the hotels and arresting people. So now workers at the other hotels, staff don't want to come in, clean the rooms. Okay. Well, I don't think anybody that doesn't work in a hotel can probably assume that if a hotel can't get their rooms clean, they can't sell rooms, and if they can't sell rooms, they can't make money. I think that I think that's pretty easy to comprehend if you're on a first grade level or if you got a master's. That if they can't get their rooms clean, they can't sell you a room, they can't make no money, and that's gonna have an effect on the economy because guess what these
So,
hotels do, Lori? They pay taxes.
so are they just not cleaning the rooms, or they're just doing it themselves? Mm.
They ain't getting clean. Now we did they did find some workarounds to be able to try to get some help from some sister properties in the area to kind of come over and try to knock out a bunch of them at one time, but that's not a long-term answer. Um, you know, that's just slowing down the economy. Perfect example, when I went to the grocery store a couple weeks ago trying to get produce, and there were so many things that were just okay, it's not all in season, but you could still get these things. And between tariffs, because we import a lot of this stuff when it's not in our season, which is why we have a global market. Yes, we produce apples. Yes, we produce oranges. But when it's not in season, we got to get that stuff from other places around the world, Lori. I saw empty things where I ain't see no pears, no mangoes. I only saw the white seedless grapes. Um, you may go to other stores, you may see it here and there, but it's just not enough to fill the grocery stores. There's people that have to pick the produce, Lori. Well, when you're sitting there rounding them all up and nobody's out there to pick it, that crop goes bad. That hurts farmers too. That hurts their economy. You already crushed them by getting rid of USAID, which is where a lot of them were able to put their seeds and beans and things like that. So all of this has a negative impact on the economy. Things cost more, things aren't available, and just doesn't do anything. So even in my line of work, Lori, we are seeing the effects of that. We have a lot of hotels in the New York area that have felt the impact of Canadians not coming across the border and spending any money. They said they wouldn't, and damn it, they kept their word. We've seen sales of Kentucky bourbon go down because as much as they make Canadian bourbon and whiskey, they love that Kentucky bourbon. They really do. But they won't do it right now. 35% sales are down, and even some Kentucky bourbon distilleries, Lori, are shutting down production or ramping it down because um, of the outlook right now. And you got to remember the good thing about good Kentucky bourbon is that it normally has to age for several years before it even hits the market. But because Americans are drinking less, they already were looking at the prospect of having to scale back because they would just have too many barrels aging. And then once they aged, there would be no buyer base, so to speak. So they already were talking about pulling it back anyway. And now with the demand from Canada going down 35%, they're shutting stuff down because the outlook of, hey, when this stuff does age, is there going to be a market for this? And they just don't know. So this is definitely having an effect on everybody. And it needs to be, I mean, whether you drink whiskey, bourbon or not, um, you want to go to a nice hotel. You want to be able to go to a nice restaurant. You want to be able to go to the grocery store and a bag of apples ain't costing you $6, $7. You want to be able to pick up some chicken wings or some beef and it ain't costing you $8, $9, $10. Hell, I can't even get damn oxtails no more. Them shit's 21 damn dollars. Some oxtails, just saying. That's crazy. A lot of this stuff is being driven by that. Y'all keep that in mind. When you're sitting there, you're thinking about, uh, uh, they say these people are taking your jobs away. They're not taking your jobs away, like Lori alluded to early. They're doing the jobs that a lot of people uh, thumb their noses at. They pass off as, but they are instrumental to this economy running. Do we need to have immigration laws? Absolutely, we do have laws. We have laws on the books. You always hear Republicans talking about they just need to follow the laws on the books. I couldn't agree more. But I also believe that if somebody's been here for 20, 25, 30 years, has followed our laws, they've paid our taxes without benefiting from those taxes that they've paid, there needs to be pathways to citizenship. You call it amnesty, you can call it whatever the hell you want. Um, but this company has been built on immigrants, and no amount of whitewashing, Lori, is ever going to change the fact that immigrants built this country, and immigrants always will continue to add to the history of this country, regardless of what they do. Final thoughts.
Please take care of your neighbors and just be kind.
Absolutely. Well, y'all, look, I appreciate y'all for tuning in, whether you're watching this on the live or watching this on the replay. Again, apologize for all the technical difficulties early on in the show. I know y'all probably wondering what the hell going on, but we made it through. one way or the other. But y'all be kind to each other out there. You know, one of the most I'll leave off with this. One of the most inspirational things that I've seen over the last several weeks has been the monks walking for peace. And they finally actually walked through our neck of the woods today.
Hmm.
Um, and the amount of attention that they're getting on Facebook, spreading their message and everything, and the lines of people lining up to see where they're walking. And even though I'm seeing memes of them walking out of Bojangles or walking out of Stats, um, with a bag of food and stuff like that, I know it's Photoshop. You know, the internet's undefeated. Um, I know it ain't real because I ain't see the dog in the picture. But all of that is good. They are representing what's good about this world, and we could all use a whole lot more of that, especially right now. So even though the monks are doing their walk for peace, I think the bigger message for us is to try as much as we can to walk in peace ourselves, to not always feel like the only way to walk in peace is to always be in full agreement with one another, but to still walk in peace anyway. So, with that, I leave y'all with peace and hope for safety, and hope that not only will you tune in again next week, but bring a friend with you. Pull up a chair, pull out a cigar, and let's do this. We'll see y'all again next week. Peace out.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the